Jordan Peterson sat down for another conversation with Joe Rogan, and at one point, Peterson explained the cross and Christ's crucifixion in a way that, as you'll see in the clip I'm about to show you, Rogan admits he's never heard it taught like this before. And I agree with Joe. I grew up being taught religion, and I don't think I've ever missed a Sunday mass, but was never taught or thought about what it means at the level that Peterson offers here.
This is about to, this looks like this is about to get deep. I know this is probably going to, so it's a little trigger warning we probably got to give to people.
We're gonna ruffle some feathers.
Hopefully not. Hopefully it just opens everybody's eyes, and that's really the purpose of this thing. So yeah, this is gonna be interesting, man. Britt Reacts, I got on the show today. I am privileged to have her. You've got to have seen her reacting to all kinds of stuff. She's definitely been one of my mentors. I have just a couple of them since I started this journey, guys. So we got funny people. We got hot topics. This is Krizz Kaliko Reacts. Come on.
Let's do it.
I am the king of the world.
So I want to pause real quick, guys, and tell you that the one of the reasons why Britt is on here today is because I wanted to expand my content. My content's predominantly been music reactions, which that will still be happening on my other channel, and some on this channel per Patreon and per request. You guys, if you want to make a request, I'll still do that, and you can do that via the PayPal link below. But I am broadening my content. You'll see some comedy on here. You'll see hot topics, and that is something that Britt is an actual expert in. And so I wanted her to come in and us to have this video together to introduce the fact that we are expanding my content a bit.
Yeah, I think, evolution is necessary. You can't keep doing the same thing over and over. And you want to be passionate about the things you're talking about. I've enjoyed branching out. And just like you said, I still do music occasionally. Most of it's over on Patreon. And I've feel for the most part, my audience has accepted our new walk together. We're learning things together. We're laughing hysterically together. It's a good time. So I think, and Jordan Peterson and Joe Rogan are kind of the perfect people to usher you into just a new world of content. There's so much content on the internet. So much.
Yeah. So I wanted to introduce it that way you guys aren't blindsided and wondering like what ended up happening. So you guys that are enjoying that content, I want you to enjoy this content with me on here. If you still enjoy the music reactions, it's over on Krizz Kaliko Official. And let's get back to it.
Early death, early painful death, early painful, humiliating, unjust death at the hands of his friends, at the hands of the mob, under the thumb of a tyrant. Right. Brought about by people who knew that he was not only good, but the best of men. That's an archetypal tragedy. And then it doesn't limit out. So then you have the death that occurs in consequence of that, and it's voluntary acceptance. But that's not where it ends, because the mythology surrounding the crucifixion story insists that Christ harrowed hell after the crucifixion, which meant that he confronted not only death, but malevolence itself, and in consequence transcended both. And so what's the underlying psychological message? It's something like the calling and the voice of conscience, informing people that in order to thrive properly in life and to become who you could be, if you could be everything you could be, you have to voluntarily take on the weight of the worst life has to offer, including the depths of malevolence itself. And you think, well, obviously, Joe, you know this. Like, how are you going to adapt to a situation you won't even admit to?
Right.
Well, so how could it be otherwise than for you to become everything that you could be? You have to embrace all of the catastrophes that life has to offer. Like, how could it be other than that? You're going to hide? You're going to pretend?
Right.
How's that going to work? No one thinks that'll work.
Right.
And so, and you're right, there is this defensive element to the, particularly the Protestant religious tradition, although I don't want to single out the Protestants specifically, that insists that, the work has already been done. But there's a lot of ambivalence about that in the Christian canon, because there's an equal insistence that, no, you're supposed to take all this on voluntarily. And that not only that, it's such an interesting idea because it makes so much sense psychologically. So imagine that as your courage grows so that you can confront more and more of the horror of life, that a spirit begins to develop within you that gives you a strength that's commensurate with your daring. That's walking with God. That's the same thing. So the promise is that if you had the courage, something would be with you to allow you to bear up nobly under the burden. And all the clinical evidence supports that proclamation, because what you see in people in the therapeutic transformation is that insofar as they're willing to confront what terrifies them voluntarily, they get stronger. And then imagine that there's nothing but a metaphysical limit to that. And I think that's right. I can't see how it cannot be right.
It makes sense, and it resonates with how we know people that have overcome great things in their life and become these very unusual and unique people.
Yeah. There's medical evidence, there's scientific evidence that's basically talks about the neuroplasticity of your brain, and how your mind learns things. In other words, if you're afraid, I'm just talking about the thing that he said at the end there. If you're afraid of something, or if something's plaguing your life that you could change by just your thoughts, by just your behavior, when you accept it and admit it, like I identify with this so much, because I can't change anything that I don't talk about or address.
If you don't confront it, how can you?
Yeah, if I have an issue with my wife, I feel like everything comes to a halt with me, everything. And until we talk about it. As soon as we talk about it, it feels like, it's like immediately. And she may be upset, but I feel like, well, now I'm purged. Cool. Yeah. We can go back to whatever it is we were doing, if we're dating or having a nice dinner, whatever it is, you know what I mean? Out kicking it. It's like, I'm back. Cool. So I'm saying it to say that I have to confront it. I have to admit it. And then I'm cool after that. And so I feel like that it was more about that than even the sacrifice of Christ to me. Listen, this is more about how humans can thrive with that example that Jesus
I think I think that was Jordan's point. Was I love that he kept kind of relating it to like everyday real life non-religious things. It's like he brought it like back to therapy, where your therapist is always going to challenge you to confront the things that you're running from. How do you heal if you're not confronting from something? You don't heal by hiding from it. You heal by facing it and getting through it. And I love that he kept kind of equating it to real life things, because that is, like you just said, that is what I think has been lost in religion is, everyone just, it's the rules, it's the shaming, it's Jesus dying on the cross, and no one gets into the nitty gritty of it. Is if you can, and I say this a lot on my channel, I'm not here to perpetuate, or I'm sorry, to push my beliefs on anybody. No. My beliefs are my beliefs, but I do think everyone should find something to anchor to. Whatever that belief is, whatever it is, something that gives you something to grab onto on your worst days, whatever that is. And so that can anchor you, level you out, and remind you like, okay, I can get through this. I just got to face it. I can get through this.
What I would want people to leave thinking, because I'm not pushing my beliefs, because I've even had doubt in my own beliefs, even though I've had lots of examples of like straight up real life miracles that I'm like, there's no way
deny it.
I can't deny it. It's got to be God. You know what I'm saying? Including just putting my hands on people when I didn't even want to, and praying over them, and things happening right then. It was like the craziest thing ever. But what I would want people to leave with is, what if this is not just trying to sell you Christianity? What if this is just selling you a different, let me put it like this. I asked my therapist, what's the purpose of going to therapy? He said, it's just therapists are just supposed to offer you a different perspective. That's it. We offer you a different perspective of something, a way to think that you may not have thought before. So what if the thought of Jesus or Christianity or any religion, but we're focused on Jesus here. What if this is just offering you a different way of thinking? Is this offering you a better way of thinking, of addressing things, of granting other people even grace,
Mm-hmm,
and you
mm-hmm.
even, forgiving people, and just things that it talks about in the Bible and in Christianity. What if it's just offering you a different perspective, like my therapist told me?
Yeah.
And that would be better for your life. What if? That's all. I would want people to just think, what if?
I think that's a great way to end it. What if? What's the worst that could happen?
What's the worst that could happen? And then better than that, what's the best? This might be the best thing that could happen. And not this just imaginary thought process of Christianity. What if it is a better way of thinking just about life and troubles that could come your way? So I'll leave y'all with that. You know what I mean? Britt, thank you so much for she introduced me to this. I saw
My
this.
pleasure.
I saw that she had done this on her channel, and I'm like, man, we got to talk about that, because it's good to have like-minded individuals and even somebody that would offer you a
different perspective.
So
yeah.
What if, y'all? What if? Thanks, Britt. Krizz Kaliko, man. This is Krizz Kaliko Reacts. See you. Bye.
Bye.